Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm. Secrets out. We went to Media Tour. Yeah, I know, right? Big surprise. Everyone's shocked. Go ahead. Give us your exasperated gasps. Your hands in the air. Call us dirty liars for not telling you about it.
Dirty liars!
I didn't mean you, Sly. I meant them.
Oh.
You were there. You don't get to call me a dirty liar.
Yeah, I know.
That's not fair. And we're going to talk about it today. Stuff that was actually there, fun times that we had with friends, maybe a story or two, good stuff. Yeah. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Happy, and of course, joining me is Sly, who is also there. Hi, Sly.
Hi. Here's everyone.
Cheers. Yeah. So his drink right there is actually even a Media Tour reference. They had mocktails, which Sly has turned into a piece of content himself. And he is drinking the Pictomancer. He is drinking the cocktail version of it, not the mocktail version. But
video on Twitter.
There you go.
And YouTube and everywhere.
There you go.
If you want to know how to make it.
Yeah, he's got you covered if you too want to be a mixologist. How is it?
It's amazing.
Compared to the other things you would normally drink.
And see, I'm normally not a big gin person, but this is really good.
Yeah. Is it? I heard somebody say that there was cucumber gin in the other one, the Viper one.
The other one, the Viper one, I used. I said you could use cucumber vodka.
Okay.
That's
all right.
Because Stoli has a cucumber vodka, so like you could alternatively leave the cucumber slices and just use cucumber vodka. But if you don't, just use cucumbers and vodka. That's all.
All right. I'm not going to drink any of this, but I'm just inquiring. Yeah. Since I know you had the videos and everything. Yeah. I can't do gin either. So good. Gin's disgusting to me. Hate it.
Yeah. Normally it is for me, but for some reason that combination just works.
Yeah. The vodka though, I can do. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll stick to my whiskeys and bourbons and whatnot. I'm sure I'll have a little bit to say about that here.
Yeah. Real quick.
Thanks to our sponsors over on Patreon for supporting. Don't have to support, choose to support. All that Media Tour content we posted, it's free. You don't have to pay for it at all. That would be ridiculous. So just continue to enjoy. And if you support on Patreon, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, Media Tour. It's crazy how when the entire directory disappears for a day from one region, how
a day?
Well,
probably two.
Depends.
2, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was realistically only gone. I streamed the day that I left for Media Tour.
Yeah, I know.
I like to, at least somewhat seem like I'm not going anywhere.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, in previous years, we were able to tell them, hey, we're going to Media Tour beforehand in previous years. Right?
Shadowbringers and Endwalker we got to mention. Shadowbringers we got to mention we were physically there, and Endwalker we got to even announce the date of the embargo drop ahead of time, which was that was a terrible idea. I don't know why they let us do that.
Yeah, honestly. So this one kind of felt weird because it's like, hey, we gotta go do stuff. We'll be back. Oh, wonder what they're doing.
I didn't say that. I was just like, so I actually had internet maintenance that week. So
I know you had a good excuse.
Yeah, I genuinely had like downtimes like that week. So I was like, oh, well, I'm just gonna be like, all right, I won't be live tomorrow because of it. And that's it, dude. I literally got the text in the lift on the way back from the airport, like in San Francisco, that said, your maintenance is now concluded. Like the day I got back, like it was legitimately like up and down for the days that I was gone. So,
wow.
Yeah. But no, we still just everyone thought everyone was there for Zeno's birthday, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, that's why we were there. Even though I didn't see Zeno. By the way, Zeno, you could have bourbon. Yeah, you missed out on bourbon, birthday boy.
He was busy. We saw he was only at dinner for like an hour left, and then we saw him on his way out the next day. So it was like, no, he had already been in LA for God knows how long. He wasn't trying to I'm trying to be there anymore. Got to sleep and everything. Arthur showed up to dinner when his flight was 3 hours later. I don't know. Yeah, him and Quasi were like, yeah, we kind of got to leave. So we got to get on a flight for in like no time at all. I'm just like, God damn, I don't want to do that shit.
Yep.
People call me crazy for booking 6:30 in the morning flights as it is.
That's not too crazy. I mean, normally my flights are like 7, 8, or 9, that kind of window.
I try to avoid 9 because that's too close to rush hour. I mean, I like to get a little earlier, but I like to avoid rush hour on the way to and from wherever I'm going. If I can get away from rush hour times, I will do it. And if that means a 6:30 flight and like a 2 p.m. land time, that's perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what I did here. This time it was like, I think I flew out at 1 and got there at 2:30. And even then, it's LA traffic, so it was horrible. Oh, yeah. LA. Both miss it and don't miss it. But the day I got there, Sly, I was just like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm chilling. I was like, all right, can I come through? And he's like, all right. I show up. Man's got a battle station just in his apartment. He had a laptop set up with wires. His PlayStation 5 was plugged into the TV. And he had 3 different bottles of bourbon and like 8 serving glasses on top of closed toiletries, etc., etc.
Oh, you think this is bullshit? Wait until you see FanFest. It just goes up like 10 notches.
I've never seen you actually how much luggage you carry with you, but it's more than I would ever bring.
That was just one suitcase. That's it. That was it. And like a, carry-on bag, but that's it.
I literally pack a gym bag and maybe a backpack. Where's the gym bag that I bring? I have like 2 or 3 of them. Where are they? I have one. Where is it? Where did I hid it? And I don't remember where. Where'd it go? Because I don't know where it is. It's somewhere.
It's somewhere.
It's somewhere. It was right there. I had 2 of them over there. But I put it in the closet. I'm not going through the closet. I'm not doing that shit.
But yeah, the reason I had like the suitcase, like, well, I had to pack the glasses and then I had to pack the bourbon because I wanted to be a good host.
I had to pack the bourbon.
Now, like in the case of FanFest, fuck that. I'm getting all the alcohol while I'm there. Fuck that. Like next FanFest, I might bring like a couple good bottles of bourbon, but everything else I'm getting while I'm there. Yeah.
Yeah. Sly was the host with the most. And then he just brought it down to the lobby later. He was just bringing his booze with him.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could do that in LA. Show up with a bottle of booze to a hotel lobby, just like, this is mine. I guess you can.
Yep.
It's not Vegas, so I was like, I don't know what to expect. Yeah, for the most part, like the way it was structured is 2 different days. There's the day 1 crew and the day 2 crew.
Day 2 crew.
Yeah, day 2 crew is a lot of creators. Day 1 crew is apparently a mix of creators and a lot of traditional media. There was still a mix on day 2 also, but it was definitely more creator heavy because we had Cider, we had Crystal, me, you, Frosty. I think Wesk was on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. Zanidra from Gamer Escape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a lot. Yeah. There was a lot of people. So it was pretty nice looking venue, pretty big. There's pictures people have shared over on socials. Yeah, we got to meet the Grinding Gears guys. They were on our day as well. So Todd was the day before. Todd I just kept seeing. I kept forgetting he was day 1 because I kept seeing him.
Yeah, Todd was just chilling with us. Like he came in the room later for bourbon and everything both days.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came by. Yeah, just chilled.
Yeah. He hosted a bunch of people in his room with the bourbons on the first. Well, I did it on both nights. I did it on the first night too, and I got to tell the bidet story again. That was fun.
Yeah. See, second night, like I think Reinhardt, I and Sarah came from the community team, so they had bourbon too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just remember. So funny thing. Apparently, Yesterday I started getting chat messages saying, "What's the bidet story?" And I hadn't brought it up, and I found
From
out
who?
Zeppela had brought it up. Ask about the bidet story. And I was like, where is that coming from? How does everyone know about that? And they were like, oh, Zeppela mentioned it. And I was like, okay. I told it earlier today on stream too. Sly, again, you ratted yourself out on this one.
Awesome.
It's your own fault. I want you to remember that.
Yep.
I was willing to die on that hill on the secret that you and I shared. And then you just ratted yourself out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Look at Sly's face.
So it's out there. Yeah.
Of course it is. You put it out there.
And it will constantly be out there. What's the bidet story? Like, how does that even come up in random conversation? Like, what the fucking hell?
At least you know now.
Yeah.
There you go. There was something else I was going to talk about that happened while there was a lot of like funny, like one-off moments. Like I was telling you, so when I ran into Whoops, he hugs me. He goes, Mr. Happy. Oh my God, how are you doing? Dragoon has no defensive, by the way. Instantly was he said hi and then instantly said it. Yeah. That was the only thing he wanted to tell me. It's because we had been talking about it beforehand. And I was just like from the live letter. And I was just like, I don't know, dude. I didn't see any defensive. He's like, no shot. No shot. They didn't add one. There's no way. Got to meet Arthur's, who is tall as fuck, by the way.
Yeah, I met Arthur's before.
Well,
Arthur's
I haven't.
at the last. Oh, that's your first time meeting Arthur's.
Yes.
Yeah, I met Arthur's at the last Fan Fest. Yeah, he's tall as shit.
I was like, hi. I was like, I'm 5'9", and you're clearly taller than that. And he was like, everyone keeps saying that. And I was just like, well, I mean, you sit down for a living. I don't know if tall. Whenever you go out on one of your rants, I can't tell how tall you are. I didn't expect to have to look up. That was a big surprise to meet Quasi, who was there as well. They both flew over. Their flights. Oh, I
couldn't imagine.
I can, because I've flown to Japan. It's a very similar flight length, but
yeah,
it's longer than that flight still. It's even longer. So I do not want to have to imagine any longer than that. It's just, ugh. I'm good with 5-6 hours, but 12 plus, no thanks. No, flying to the U.S. is better than flying back, in my experience. My flight to Japan was 14 hours. My flight back was 12. But it wasn't that. No, the economy 12-hour is rough. No, not on those flights. Dude, ANA, which is All Nippon Airlines to Japan. I could fly, dude. I could live on coach on ANA. All right.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, this is good living on this flight right here. So I'm not complaining in any capacity. This is great. Oh man. But layovers kill me. So there's that. But all in all, yeah, we all had a fun time socializing, getting to see people. Bunch of names that I just haven't even mentioned.
And the thing about it, we were in Little Tokyo.
Yeah.
So our choices for food were great. Both nights I went for ramen, like really good fucking ramen. You went to like a sushi place and whatnot, like a really
no. So the first night we went to a place I've actually been before. I didn't realize it till I got there. Like I didn't recognize it by the name. But we went to a Korean restaurant. It wasn't Korean barbecue. It was a Korean restaurant. You order food and they bring it to you. So there was soups, there was meats, there was all that kind of stuff. And that was like a whole big group thing. That was like Todd, Zeppela, Arthur, Zeno, Whoops, me, Jesse. It was like 13 or 14 people. The second night, we thought we were going to sushi. It was not. It was kaiseki. It was a shabu shabu kaiseki location. Now, for those who don't know, kaiseki is basically a multi-course meal that, usually has some sort of themed entree. In this case, it was shabu shabu, which is hot pot, for those who haven't had it before. And I got a tweet from Garrett today because I already told people what that experience was like. We went thinking it was sushi, and Garrett from Grinding Gears was very ready for it to be sushi. And then it wasn't. It was that. And he was like, I don't really like hot pot. I like to boil my meats. Right? And I'm like, that's fair. Shabu shabu a little different than that. So I taught him how shabu shabu works, where it's not boiling meat. You're just essentially blanching it real quick and then seasoning it or dipping it in sauce or something like that. And then you cook vegetables and everything to flavor the stock. And that he loved. But then the thing he fell in love with was they took the stock we cooked in and made rice porridge with it. And then the rice porridge was bomb.
Banging.
Yeah.
It's always banging.
He was just like, this is amazing. He was blown away by the rice porridge. So it ended up being a good experience for everyone. We had some sake. We had a good time. It was fun.
See, the first night both nights I went to like 2 different ramen places. The first one had like $20 pitchers of Sapporo. I'm like, yes. So I go there with Zanidra from Gamer Escape, and we're just chilling. We're just, eating some fucking ramen, some gyoza, some karage, and then just throwing back some Sapporo. The next night we go to a different ramen place, and it's with Frosty, it's with Cristal, June, some of the IGN guys, a couple more people, and Frosty just gets everybody like sake, and I'm still having like fucking Sapporo and shit, and ramen and shit. It was a whole thing. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
Little Tokyo. Love it.
It's funny because I've been to because I used to live in LA, so I kept saying, "Oh yeah, I've been to this place or I've seen this place," and they're just like, "Where have you not been, Happy? Huh? Where have you not been?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I lived in LA. It's not my fault that I recognize things." I think it was June who kept saying, "Oh yeah, you recognize it? You've been there, huh? Yeah." I think it was June.
Yeah,
now
it's like a June thing.
Now, of course, we had the event itself. Venue is very nice.
Yes.
Big ups to the team. We got to see and sit on the Secret Labs chairs while we were there.
Yeah, hi Secret Labs. My name is Sly. I would like one of those shits
it's
too,
actually
please.
Secret Labs, no S. See, it's like daylight saving. It's not daylight savings. It's daylight saving. It's not Secret Labs. Secret Lab. Right there.
You're insistent on that, huh?
What do you mean insistent on it? That's what it is.
Oh my God. Either way, I would like one too.
I'm just pointing it out because I didn't know. I said the same thing. I learned that too, is what I'm saying. I thought I always said Secret Labs also. And then it was, yeah. And I also said daylight savings. So I'm showing you that I've corrected myself. Yeah, it's Summer Game Fest, not Summer Games Fest. That's another one. That's later today. That's why we're doing the show an hour early.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's perfect. And they had food. I barely got to eat any of it. I had to scarf down 16 fried plantains because I didn't eat for like the first 6 hours.
Yeah, I was scarfing that shit down while doing all the shit. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and people always ask what... I had somebody ask me earlier today, how many days did you have to record? And I'm like, days?
Days?
We had
day.
We had
hours.
Yeah, we had like 8 hours, including the food break. Let's just say this. Sly was so desperate for more time, somebody from staff had to come turn his monitor off.
Yeah. He's like, they're like, yeah, it's time. I'm like, fuck. All right.
He was trying to get like the last bit of artifact. Like he was like circling around his character for artifact.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about that shit first of all. Okay, so yeah, there was a video planned to kind of show you, hey, this is what the artifact gear looks like. So I get home, get all my footage together and everything, and I'm beginning to make that video because that one's the easiest one. And then I look on YouTube, which is probably the worst thing for me. And then some random person on YouTube already has the AF gear up. And I'm like,
Sly, do you want to know why that is?
Data mine, I know.
Yeah.
Like I could tell. I could fucking tell. Like when I highlighted over something, it said FF14 something. So, and I was like talking to Frosty, I'm like, this motherfucker already has the fucking AF gear out. Yeah, it was probably the data mine. I'm like, yeah, it was. And so I think like a day after that, Square puts out the whole blog post with all the artifact gear. So I'm like, fuck my life. That's one video out in the fucking water.
Well, no, see, who was it who did it? I think it was it Sarah? I think it was Crystal. They rated them from worst to best, which was which was an individual take on it, which I think was a good call.
That's a good take. Yeah, that was a good call.
Yeah. Because they had already been seen to death at that point. I knew that too. That's why I didn't do it. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not the glam guy. No one gives a shit. Yeah, it was Crystal who did. That's what I thought. First of all, no, it's because I saw one from Sarah when I just looked over at YouTube like 5 minutes ago. But I knew that it wasn't the same video. Hers was a different one. Yeah. So that was a good call. That was a nice pivot. People always ask about like what to do. Like, oh, if they've already done that, it'd be like, it doesn't matter. Just come up with something. You want to do content? Just come up with something. You want to know something funny? So I didn't tell anyone who wasn't going that I was going, but I get a DM 5-6 days ago, I think it is, from Momo going, hey, can I use your media tour footage to talk about healers? And I was just like, I never told him I was going. So my reply was, if I were to go to such an event, I'd be okay with it.
The response I'm picturing the response everybody has in their head. If you were to go, like I can see the only reason you not going is because there was an extenuating circumstance and you just couldn't. Otherwise, this motherfucker going.
I don't ever like to assume. I never make it. I didn't go to FanFest.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you that one.
Everyone's everyone thought I was lying. Everyone's like, no, he's going. And I'm like,
no. And he really wasn't there. Like, yeah. And see, we were talking about that. That did come up in conversation when we were, throwing back bourbon in the room. The whole FanFest thing. And we were like, we were talking about, the whole, content creator thing. And you never know. That's the thing. You never really know.
Everyone was sure. They were like, oh, of course Happy's going to be invited. No, they fairly to every creator. And I didn't want to try to get a ticket after that, especially because I didn't get into the first round. And I was like, that's for the best. I took it as a sign. I was like, honestly, there's a lot of negativity around it, and I don't want to spend the money, so I'm not even going to try to acquire. Because I had people DMing me, asking me, like, hey, do you want my FanFest ticket?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, everyone else will be fine going. Like, I know everyone else is going to get tickets now if this is already happening with me. So, yeah, I was like, So, there's all that.
Yep. Yeah, so the day of, we wake up in the morning, gather in the lobby of the hotel.
I had breakfast first.
In the lobby.
I made sure to have breakfast first.
You were a good one. I mean, I did have some, what did I have? I
thought you were going to say bourbon for a second.
No, God, no. Yeah, I got something from the 7-Eleven, some body armor from 7-Eleven. So I had that. And they were like, how are you? And some people are like, Sly, how are you functioning? I don't know. Body armor. So
doesn't answer the question.
Yeah,
okay.
So yeah, they give us the whole wristbands and everything, and pile us onto a bus, drive us to the venue, and we get there. And it, if you've seen the pictures, was very tropical, very tropical.
Very, yeah. They've been putting out some stuff from it as well over on socials. They like interviewed some of us for stuff and whatnot, for opinions on things. So you can get some idea. People have been posting pictures of it. My only thing is I saw a nutkin and I had to hold it over my crotch. It was the only, and the Twitter crop for it was perfect. Because in Twitter, I'm like this, like you don't see my arm, like if you can't even tell I'm holding something. I'm just like this. And then you go full screen and it's the nutkin just right here. And it was beautiful. I saw like 3 or 4 other people take pictures and I'm like, how could they not do this? What's wrong with you? The opportunity's right there. But after they got us situated, a little introduction from Yoshi P.
Yep.
And asking us if the screen was too bright.
I said no.
I said yes.
I mean, half the people said yes. I'm like,
I'm shocked it was only half.
I play in. Well, to be fair, I do stream with like soft boxes and everything, but for the most part, even I play in the dark and that shit. And I was like, because I recorded the whole intro and everything. Like, let me see if I'm really like when I get home, I play the intro with the whole flash bomb thing. Like, let me see if this is really that bad in like dark, hermity settings. And no, it wasn't even that bad.
So I watched it in full lighting and I thought it was bad. My hand could not have been raised faster. I literally put it in one of my videos, like just the login screen, like blinding part, because I was talking about
and
him.
then half a chat says, I'm blind. Oh my God.
Yep. And myself included. And it loops about 4 times. So it just flashbangs you over and over again in that video. Just to really drive home the point that it's happening.
Yeah.
So, just saying. And I have lights. I've got them shining down on my face. And you know what? I could brighten them up even if I wanted to. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let me just do. Ah! Anyway, there you go. That's that's what it feels like every single time I log into Dawn Trail. Just and then that's it.
Yeah, the good old meme of Ben.
Yeah, I can Ben meme myself at any point pretty much. That shit's bright. That's it.
Yeah. So after the initial introduction and Yoshi P asking us that question, it was pretty much off to the races at that point. There was a brief, very brief. Yeah, they said, "Hey, Yoshi P's gonna be over there if you wanna, go meet him, shake his hand, and I didn't.
I didn't either.
I was just focused and everything. So yeah. So we had our time with the game. The majority of my time was spent getting, again, every fucking tooltip. Because I did the infographics again. If you want to see them, they're over on the Reddit. There you go. That's what Haps was doing. So it's kind of like Haps was covering me and I was covering Haps because, even if I didn't have something, he would have it. If he didn't have something, I would have it.
Yep.
So it was kind of a thing. So after that, we got our hands on some things. So let's talk about you pretty much did everything.
Yeah. So I had 1,260 something files in my drive. I did not want to record myself hovering over tooltips and then have to clip the tooltip from a video.
No, see, and the reason why you did that, The reason why so you had like stills. You had stills.
I took
of
screenshots.
each.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the way I did it was I just did a video.
I know.
Hovering
I
over
didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have to crop every single. By the time you told me you had like one job's like thing done, I was like almost done with all my job videos because of how much.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you're good. Like, I was just going and shout out to Marcus, by the way, my good community member and friend, Marcus the Fisher, because I was like, yo, Marcus, I'm doing these things, and like it made my job so much easier from, me having to crop it to, hey, here it is. You can just do the infographics. And that was it. He knocked them out. I knocked them out. It was a team thing. So shout out to Marcus.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't have an editor. So I had to do all that. Yeah, I sat. So funny thing is, they gave us instructions on taking the screenshots, and we were supposed to use, I don't know, it wasn't shadow play, whatever it was. It
was just straight OBS.
No, that was for the videos. For the screenshots, it's
no, that's exactly what it was too.
I've never taken a screenshot in OBS.
Yeah, I have. Like, I had to learn how to do it, but yeah, that's exactly what it was. Videos and screenshots were done through OBS.
Yeah, I said fuck that. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. They gave us instructions to do it the way
you did OBS. The whole print screen thing.
I print screened, yeah, because the OBS one has like a 10-second delay. Like, you can only take one every like 6 a minute, and I was like, there's no fucking shot. There's no way I'm doing this. So I just said fuck it, and I did it the old-fashioned way. I just dragged them all over.
Mm-hmm.
I asked first. I said, can I just do it the old-fashioned way? And they went, all right, yeah. Just make sure you remember to drag it over. And I was like, I got it. So, yeah, that was what I spent the first hour doing, going through every. And the funny thing is, I got through all the skills, and I was on the last job. I think Astro was the last job I did. And I was like 10 skills from done, and I went, traits.
I realized that like 2 jobs through. I'm like,
you asked me too. You leaned over and you were like, did you remember to do traits? And I was like, that was after I had remembered, fortunately. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing that after I'm done.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I went in reverse. I went from Astro back up to Pictomancer, which was at the very top of my job organization. So yeah, that was an hour just, and I actually, what I did, I don't know if you noticed, I took my phone and I asked you several times, I started a stopwatch to see how long it was going to take.
See how long it would take.
Yeah. I literally just started running the stopwatch to see how long the tooltips were going to take me. So, I don't remember how long the second attempt took, but I definitely wasted 20 or 30 minutes on trying to do the original method before realizing it didn't work. And I don't remember what compelled me to check, but I'm glad I did. I was pretty far through by the time I remembered to check. But, well, I think I like double took a screenshot. I was like, did I take that one twice? And then I checked and I was like, oh, fuck. Didn't do it the old-fashioned way. And then from that point on, it was literally just trying to get anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes of footage for every job. And
you're a good one.
Yeah. And that was just go, go, go. I was 5 jobs short of finishing by the time it was like 2:30. And the food was supposed to be out till 3. And people did try to like tell me to go get food. And I was like, no, that food can wait. I've got till 3. So I saw it was 2:30 and I was like, okay, I've got 30 minutes left. I went out there, all the food was gone. Because they had cleaned down. They just didn't put more food out, even though they still had to cater for 30 more minutes. So I was like, oh, the food's gone. I'm so screwed. And they're like, wait, no, it's not supposed to be gone. Let me go talk. They put out fried plantains, rice, and salad. That's all they brought back out. So no protein for me.
Yeah, there was meat. There was some chicken.
Oh, I know there was.
Some beef. Whatchamacallit, I forgot what they were, but yeah, those things.
Empanadas?
By the way. I think, I think they were empanadas. Yeah, those were good. Those were really good.
I'm sure they were great. I had fried plantains and rice. That's all I had. That's all they put back out for me.
When that was left in, I was, got a couple more plates of that because I love plantains. I'm weird. I hate bananas, but I love plantains.
I would eat a banana on stream right now, but I don't have any right now.
Yeah.
I could go squish some bread for you.
That's nice.
I mean, I'll eat the bread. I'll just squish it first.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was just me the whole time, just staring at the monitor. The last like 30 minutes, I didn't do anything. I could have done more, and I was like, I'm content. But that was just it. It was just the more jobs they add, the harder that day gets.
Yeah.
Every year has gotten harder and harder. The good news is that in previous years, other than Endwalker, which was obviously online, we had to take time at the end to transfer files onto a hard drive that we purchased.
They give you that little extra bit of time in the previous years just to get everything on a hard. They gave you a hard drive, and the hard drive we got was part of our little grab bag.
Well, they gave us a thumb drive. Thumb drive ain't gonna hold all the footage that I need.
Nah, they gave us this in the little swag bag. We didn't get this there. I mean, we got this when we were leaving.
Yeah.
But where all the files were, so all the files, all the captures that we did, both stills and video, were in a folder.
Yeah.
And so what they did was they put that into kind of like a Dropbox thing, and they gave us a password to it, and that's how we got it when we got home.
Yep. And as soon as I actually made 2 videos before I got that.
Mm-hmm.
I had my own interview with Yoshi P, and then I did a video on the group Q&A. I was like, I'm not waiting. I need to get a head start on something here. And then we ended up getting the footage sooner than I thought we would. So I fortunately got, go balls to the wall as soon as possible. And every raid day we had scheduled with my group after that was something I was infinitely feeling grief on. I was like, oh, I don't want to be here. I have other things to do.
So yeah, the past couple of weeks I've been taking like 2 days off, just to kind of work on stuff.
I did 9 videos in one day. I took off a day. I did 9 videos that day.
You're a good one. I don't want to look at Photoshop for like the next 2 weeks. I want to look at Premiere Pro for the next 2 weeks. I just no.
I'm making a video after Summer Game Fest is done tonight. I'm ready to go. There's other interviews and shit I got to make videos on. I got to do Dawn Trail prep video. I got.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a metaphor video and fucking shit. I don't wanna.
Too bad. Be a content creator.
No. God.
Now, as for what we actually played, I've got videos out on everything. So, missed a few things. I had missed Pictomancer's shield becoming AoE when you press it for the second time. When you use Grasa after Cope. I had missed that. I think there was one other thing that I missed as well. Can't remember what it is. But I was surprised at how quick I was able to get through most things, because a lot of it was surface level same.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I know when I saw you doing Dragoon, I leaned over and I was like, so Sly?
No. Here's what happened. And like, I was on a dummy. I was like, getting my stuff set up because I brought my iPad because, here's the thing. I like to set up my hotbars a certain way. So I just go to my fucking stream on my fucking iPad and like, okay, everything goes here, everything goes here. And so I start going through the motions, like complete muscle memory, because I've been doing this shit for years. And after the immediate moment I started, I'm like, Caps, did I miss fucking Dragon Sight? Is that
gone?
He's like, that, yeah, that shit's gone. And Caps is like, that shit's gone. I was like, okay, great. So there was that. What else? Like, so your Dragonfire is just a fucking 2-minute now.
Yep. And it's a follow-up for your 2-minute.
It's a follow-up for your 2-minute. Yeah. So there's that. Complete muscle memory thing. This one is a complete muscle memory thing, because spine shatter is no longer a thing. Like, that's a button they took away. That's one OGCD they took away. But because of my Unga Boonga muscle memory of course, because they took it away, that's where I put our new dash. And because of Unga Boonga muscle memory,
No, you don't
it's like,
need to.
hey, yeah, I don't need to. It's like, hey, that's a damage button that I should be pressing. I'm just fucking like pressing the dash, like because of just straight muscle memory. Like that's a damage button. You should be pushing that. No, hell shit. That shit don't do damage. It's just a fucking dash. Like, yeah, so that it felt Dragoon felt weird at first, but it's more of a you'll get over it. You will really get over it soon. Like that's
what I feel like saying to half the people who I'm reading online. Like, you'll get over it. Just shut up.
You'll get over it. You'll get over it. It'll feel weird with like certain buttons going and everything, but you'll get over it. It's not that bad. Your life window is every minute. Yada yada yada. Yeah, like it's just.
Life window is already every minute. It was just when the first minute of life window was, because it was more like you could get life as early as 30 seconds, and it was like, and then you got to do the life window delay, and there's all the technical bits to it that came in. Yeah, no, now it's just your Skogul go into. What's funny is your life window is actually more hectic now than it was before, because it's shorter, and even though you don't have Spine Shatter Dive, all of your Nastrons have 2-second cooldowns now, and you have the extra OGCD. With Starcross.
So yeah, you're not waiting for your Nastrons anymore. There's, like I said, it's just 2 seconds. You can literally pump them shits out whenever the fuck you want. And that felt weird. It's like, oh fuck, my Nastron's up. Oh fuck, my Nastron's up.
I noticed the tooltip only said it gives you Nastron ready. It doesn't say it gives you 3 stacks of Nastron ready, but I was like, whatever. I mean, I was expecting to go in and I was expecting to go in and be like, oh, I'm only using it once, really? And then I saw I had 3 stacks, and I was like, oh, okay, no, it's the same as before. They just let you pump them out at any point. Yeah, life also giving a 15% damage buff with sight gone is another thing.
Yeah,
so. They made sure that the site was made up for somewhere. But yeah, it's the only real total OGCD difference is you don't have sight. Like that's the one actual -1 OGCD total. But it's the amount of time you have to do them in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see if the 15% stays. But yeah, they do life window is it's pretty good.
Pretty nuts right now, man. And that's why I'm like, y'all get over it. You'll get over it.
Listen, I think most people just wish Winged Glide, which is the name of the gap closer, was cooler. I think that's fair.
I think they wish it was cooler and it did damage. Because like that's again, like Spine Gyro was our damage button. Now it's just a gap closer. It was like when they took leg sweep away when we were pressing leg sweep to do damage. And now it's just a fucking roll action that just interrupts. That felt weird.
I think it would be funny if they actually just straight up hopped over to the spot, like as a jump. That would be kind of funny. Like it would almost look like the old school, like Dragoon, like the pixel one where they go, and then they,
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people just wish they took the potencies off of Plunge and Spine Setter and Rough Divide. I saw that around a bunch too.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my first and foremost thing. Then, like I said, I wanted to focus the majority of my day on the new. So Viper and Picto. So Viper was next for me. So let's talk about Viper.
Okay, follow the dotted line. I'm done.
Yeah. I say, and I tell everybody this, and this is what I told everybody yesterday. Viper is one of those things, like, we had a whole, they gave us a whole book on it. And I'm like, okay, Happy had already made a video. Mind you, Happy had already made a video.
So backing up, when I went to his room, he was rewatching the live letter with the job action trailer. And also he was like, yeah, I want to just quickly check like Viper stuff again. And I was like, oh, you can just watch my video. I already released a guide for
it. All that shit goes out the window when it's in front of me. And there's this booklet and like, okay. So I'm at this point, I'm playing Simon.
Yep.
I'm like, holy shit, this is actually pretty fucking cool. This is like because I thought this was going to be a ninja busy job, and it is semi.
Not really.
Semi.
I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not as busy as ninja. It's still
Here's
a
the
bit
thing.
busy.
Here's the thing. In buffs, it's not as busy as I think. I think Ninja still feels busier because where Ninja's focus is kind of all over the place. On top of having with Mushers, like you have to go. You have Aeolian. You have Fleeting. And Forked Raiju, you know, obviously most people just use Fleeting Raiju. You have, you know, you have the Suiton prep going in. You have the Raiton, the Hyosho, the Tenchi Jin, the follow-up. You have the making sure your Bava is buffed to be the new skill plus its Mesui potency buffs because you can stack both buffs and you want that for direct crit. It's all, yeah, no, Ninja's buff window is crazy. Ninja outside of buffs is still like nothing at all. Now you don't even have to worry about Huton. Right. You just have to worry about the kunais, the Kazama Toei.
Right.
So I felt like Ninja felt really good. And honestly, Ninja's a great example of something they did. They didn't have to do this with Dragoon because Dragoon's always been very good at this. Even though they did kind of get an upgrade that's semi like this. Ninja is a good example of sometimes you just need to make the thing I'm doing look a little different. And I'll feel a lot better about it. Dokomori and Kunai's Bane versus Trick Attack and Mug. Literally makes no fucking difference. Well, I mean, Kunai's Bane does because it's AoE. But like... And Huton being an AoE Suiton was like such a natural like change. Like that's not that it is instantly made sense for the job. It wasn't like, oh, here you just have another like button that does, you know, nothing at all. It was like, oh, what can we logically do with Huton? Oh, it's AoE Suiton. Just makes sense. Like instantly. It's like one of the most logical changes I've ever seen.
But yeah, going back to Viper, again, like it's not really busy. And once you really break it down, it's basically keep up your dots, go into Awaken, push all the buttons, that's it. That's I mean, it's a little bit more to it than that, but like at bare bones minimum, that's it. And another thing I noticed about it is that a lot of when you're in Awaken, pretty much I think all of the damage is AoE.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like Viper is a dungeon monster. Like it is a like outside of like raid and like any kind of raid gameplay, Viper is a dungeon fucking monster. Like I was going out to do the fates and everything. I was like accidentally pulling like I'm a fucking tank, but because I was in Awakening, everything was like dying because it's like AoE and it's stupid. I don't know if they're gonna keep that on there. They probably should. It's funner, but goddamn, that it was so I felt like going into your Awakened form was so rewarding because you like what do? You're doing. It's either generation then legacy or
it's generation then legacy. It's first generation, first legacy, second generation, second legacy, third, fourth, and then Ouroboros.
And it's just a fun sequence of button presses that just does a fuck of damage.
I can't wait until Ouroboros next expansion has a follow up called Global Saturation. It's the first joke I had to make. I was like, I need to make a Wesker quote. I have to do it. I can't stop myself from doing it. The only thing that I didn't realize, not that I didn't realize it, but I couldn't readily identify immediately on Viper was that it is all the positionals they've been taking away from everyone else. They gave them to Viper.
Yeah.
So every third of your basic combos is a positional and it alternates between flank, rear. You never need to track it. You do flank on purpose first and then it's flank, rear. Like it'll literally never change. And then Dreadwinder is also the left button. You could just make flank. The right button you can make rear. And again, you don't really need to track it. But it does have a lot of positionals. Which is fair because it also has no defensives and no raid utility. Every button on Viper goes forward.
Viper go burr.
Literally the burr job. I was like, roll actions? I guess I could use those. You know?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Hey, Viper, can you hit that faint? Nah, go burr.
Have you seen my off globals? No. Not doing it. So if you are actually smooth brained, I would recommend Viper. And here's the thing. I was debating whether Reaper or Viper was the easier choice. And I think the answer is Viper, but I think you'll have more fun being smooth brained on Viper than on Reaper.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. You just don't need to really worry. Because here's the thing. You don't even need to do debuff tracking is the big thing.
No, you really don't, because as long as you go through the flow of it.
It's not even that. Whatever debuff has less duration lights up as a dotted line. I'm sorry, your personal buffs, your damage buff and your haste buff, whichever one is lower duration will be a dotted line for you. So you don't need to know. Well, you just need to apply one, and then the dotted lines will just maintain you through the rest of them. Not to mention your Dreadwinder, which is the twin blade mode, gives you both. Like in 2 GCDs, you apply the debuff, you get one buff, you get the other buff, you're done. Yeah, it's just follow the lines. Which is why the gauge, I had to explain to people how useless the gauge was when I made the first guide.
Yeah, because I wasn't after you explained it, I wasn't paying attention to that.
Exactly. Shit. I was like, it's literally just a visual representation of your combo. And everyone else was like trying to how does that work? Like, what is it for? And I was like, oh, it's literally just tracking your GCDs, your combo.
One of the most useless gauges ever.
Yeah. It's literally the same as the dotted line.
Yeah, the buttons will do it. The buttons will do it automatically. Yeah.
I equate it to it's like the equivalent of actually looking at your dancer job gauge to see your dances. Because you can do that. I don't, but you can.
Yeah.
Just follow the dotted lines. It's the same exact thing. That's all it is.
Yep.
But it was fun. I still definitely am a bigger fan of Pictomancer than Viper after playing both of them.
I'm the exact opposite. Okay, so I go to Picto. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. And I was trying my hardest to get going with the flow of Picto, because you laid it out, and I'm I looked at, I'm reading Picto. Okay, you do this, this, this. And it was Greek. It was Greek to me.
I had made a guide for it, so, you know.
Yeah, you did make a guide for it, but I'm normally not a caster, but I'm asking the community team and everything, is there a flow for this? What am I don't know what to do with my hands. What are you doing? What and so perhaps you can probably explain this better. What is the flow for Picto?
The flow is now the burst is one thing. So there's a couple of different openers.
Yeah.
One of them is you swift casting a paint in your opener, so you can pot during that. So the pot lasts longer, whereas I had suggested potting before because it gets really, really crowded when you try to do it. But it's right now, I think it's Wing Muse into pot. Wing Muse swift cast into into creature motif. No, it's not Wing Muse. It's the Palm Muse. It's Palm Muse, and then you paint the wings. Yeah, you do Palm Muse, and then you swift cast the wing motif, and then during the swift cast of time, because you have forever, you pot and you hammer Muse at the same time, and that gets you caught up. And then the rest is the same as what I presented, just you pot at that later time, and you don't have swift cast if you need it for another 40 seconds. So that might depend on the fight, but you have so much mobility on the job, on-demand mobility, that it shouldn't be that much of a problem. You just need to prep a little bit. After that, it's literally just hammer combo and landscape going through the Black Mage combo. That's it. It's just a matter of being able to properly fit off globals in. It's between bursts that's weird for people, or is gonna be people who are oh, I'm maining Picto. That's gonna be the part that determines whether or not they want to main it. It's painting the motifs outside of your opener.
Yeah.
because as I was doing the dungeon, I was like, okay, I could paint this motif during this trash pull and then blast them for an AoE. Or I could just keep AoEing and then paint the motif between the pulls. And like that moment where I'm like watching everyone AoE the mobs and I'm painting, I'm like, don't mind me, just
some happy little trees. Just some happy little trees.
Yeah. It's
beat the devil out of it. Beat the devil out of it.
Yeah. That's pretty much exactly how it felt. So that took a lot of getting used to as I was running through the dungeon on Pictomancer. But the actual flow of the job is going to be interesting because it's very variable. You have a lot of opportunities to save mobility. The job is it gives you a lot of tools for it. But at the same time, you could totally screw yourself by going into black paint at a really bad time. So there's a little bit of nuance to it. The biggest thing is knowing where in a fight you get to paint, because the only rule is you don't need to paint on any specific GCD outside of your potential opener, where you want to avoid painting as much as possible because you want to be dealing damage with every GCD. But that just means that every fight you're going to have to look at like a 40-second window and be like, when is the boss not doing anything important? I will paint during that time. Or when is the boss not even hittable? I will paint during that time.
Downtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it feels like Picto suffers the least from downtime. Like,
Picto very much likes downtime because then they can just paint.
Yeah.
It depends though, because some downtime comes with a lot of movement, which you can swift cast your motifs, obviously, but
right. But like, okay, like let's put this in. I'm trying to think of a good downtime. Uptime, downtime.
I mean, if I was thinking something like UCOB, where Bahamut jumps away, and keep in mind for any UCOB enjoyers, Picto does have all three of its motifs by level 70. It doesn't have all of the muses. It doesn't have Medine, and it doesn't have Comet in Black. I don't think it has Comet in Black, and I think it only has Holy in White for T. It doesn't have Holy in White for UCOB, but for downtime that doesn't matter. For movement, it does, but for downtime, it doesn't. So it'll at least have most of its important tools by the time you get around to UCOB and Uwu. And then it'll have a movement tool in T.
Oh, yeah, by the way, hold on, like, really quick note.
Yeah.
In terms about, like, movement, I'm still kind of, like, sad that they kept, like, the whole movement thing on TCJ.
Why does anyone expect that to change?
Like everybody expects that to change.
Nobody who actually plays the job expects it to change.
Yes, they do. They want it to change.
People who want it to change are people who do not play Ninja. Everyone who plays Ninja expects it to fucking change. Doesn't expect it to change. It's only people who don't play Ninja who keep thinking Tenchi Jin is ever going to have a movement thing change. I can at least agree with accidentally right-clicking not getting you out of it. Like that would be a nice change if I right-click by accident. I'd be okay with that, but movement? Yeah. But it's like a caster suddenly.
Wait. Let me read my raid leads thing when he read my infographic.
Yeah.
And TCJ still root.
Takes
Wait,
2
maybe
seconds.
not. Maybe not. Nope. Still does at the very end. In fact, it ends up on moving. Like, damn. Yeah. It's still root. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just something really quick.
It's like 2.5 seconds of root.
I'm just saying.
No one who plays that job like full time is like expecting it to change. They might think it could change. They might wonder if it's going to change, but they're not like, oh yeah, they're definitely doing that. And the finisher doesn't require you to stand still either. You hold the finisher. The finisher is just an off global you get access to for 30 seconds.
You hold it, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. But it's like, yeah, no. But for Picto, it's going to be interesting because, like, I imagine situations that actually extend for really, really long periods of time. And I think of like top exaflares or top, not exasquares, the other one. I forget what the name of the attack actually is, but the one where you start in the middle and you loop around and you have to like get behind the exaflares and then they cross through to the other side. Yeah. I think about that for Picto, and I'm like, okay, well, you would definitely want 5 Holy and Whites for that. You would probably want to Swift cast the motif during that. And that's level 90, so it's not quite the same, but you have all those tools at 90. Like, Picto at 90 is literally just missing Medine and maybe, and Starry Sky, I think, is all they're missing at that level. They're missing the AoE heal / nuke at the end of Landscape Muse. And I'm pretty sure that's all they're missing at that. And Rainbow Drip, right, which is an instant cast. So they're not really like missing anything too crazy at 90. So that's a pretty good example. Rainbow Drip would be movement if they were during 2s at that time, but not really a reliable one. So yeah, actually Picto at 90 is pretty sweet. Viper at 90 is weird. Picto at 90 is very normal.
Yeah.
Viper at 90 is very strange. Because Viper at 90, even at 92 in the dungeon, you only have 1st through 4th generation. You don't have Ouroboros and you don't have Legacy. So
yeah, like in the dungeon, Viper did feel a little weird, and I was like, oh yeah, we don't have our whole toolkit. Yeah, this feels weird.
Yeah, you have the 4-stack Reawaken, which is only 1st through 4th generation. At 70, it's Reaper. It literally, you have Dreadwinder and your AoE equivalent, like Fanged, whatever it is, and that's it. It's gonna feel exactly like playing Reaper at 70, except you'll have more positionals, and that's probably it. You don't even have Uncoiled Fury at 70. You don't have the ranged attack until 82, I think it is. You don't even have it for T, the ranged attack. So yeah, it's gonna feel a lot like Reaper at the lower ultimates. But no, Picto I think will feel pretty good in all the ultimates. Feel better in 90 ultimates, but still.
Yeah.
Viper in the dungeon was definitely kind of strange for me because I had just beaten the shit out of the dummy and I was just like, oh.
Yeah, that was the exact same thing I was feeling like.
Oh, okay. I see what you've done here. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely more excited for Picto, though.
Yeah, I'm more excited for Viper. It's just again, it's a out of raid. It's like anything outside of raid, it's a fucking monster. Like if they like add that to like whatever sustainability you have, like I guess like blood, what was that?
Bloodbath.
Bloodbath. Thank you. Bloodbath and ring. Like I feel like in the future it is going to get a kind of like a lance charge a little bit. I feel like in the future it will get a lance charge button just specifically for Viper. I don't know what it will be called, but everything. And yeah, another thing, we were worried about the identity of Viper, but all the fucking names are just, snake-ish names. So yeah, Viper identity, okay. The aesthetic though, but in terms of the naming, yeah, it's fine.
Man, you think the self-sustain on Bloodbath is going to be strong? My boy Monk is a full-blown healer now, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh my god! Okay, I wanna walk you through a comment that like,
okay,
because I was about to hit you. I was about to hit you up when I was working on the Monk infographic. Sorry, Marcus, I'm not like putting you on blast or anything, but let me go up. Because we were starting to work on melees, and then we got to Monk, and then Marcus is like, oh, okay, this is weird. Why are there like 4 fucking meditates?
Okay.
And I'm like, I can't tell you.
Meditate. I mean,
like,
yeah, they upgrade the meditation as you learn new skills. It just becomes enlightened meditation.
Yeah, because he's like, because we got 4 forms of meditation. I'm trying to see why they have it like that.
They just change the name every time you get a new skill. I think when you get it at like 70 whatever, it's regular meditation. It becomes enlightened meditation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, but with Monk, I was shocked when I saw that they gave them an AoE heal. They gave them an Indom, literally a Scholar's Indom.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, bro, you can't give Dragoons anything, and you just gave Monk now has a 20% damage reduction that when you're hit comes with a 100 potency regen that if you can then use a follow-up skill that heals for 500 in an AoE while you have the regen. They still have Mantra, they have Bloodbath, they have upgraded Second Wind. Like, they're just messing with with Dragoons at this point.
You know what's gonna happen again, Apps?
What?
This is gonna be Shadowbringers all over again, and we're gonna get our monthly Dragoon buff. That's all that is.
I don't know, dude. I think Dragoon's pretty cracked. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think
it's cracked, but like we have no defensive, so they're just like, here's something else. Hey, you have no defensive, but you were a glass cannon. Have fun. Monthly Dragoon buff again.
Monk was interesting because, like, honestly, it feels almost identical to before. I like you rotate through the combos a little bit less, but that's about it. The flow is still pretty much identical to what it was before, or feels nearly identical. The only weird thing was Fire's Reply and Wind's Reply both being on the GCD, which has. Oh, it's a little weird, but like I without even like doing the numbers, I can see where you would put those because all the buffs are also 20 seconds now. Every buff basically is 20 seconds now. So, you know, there's no more like getting Litany with 15 and Tech with 20 and then 5 seconds of Tech are outside of the crit buff from that. It's like this, everything's just going to go up and be 20 seconds and be really close to each other pretty much all the time. And so I can see that extra time buys you the time you need to get everything inside of Riddle of Fire and Brotherhood. It just means that you'll probably buff in PB a little bit later, I suppose. Like you'll probably you'll probably want to be burning through PBs before you start buffing instead of like buffing going into the first PB. At least that's how I imagine it in my head, because you need 2 extra GCD spots towards the end to make sure that you actually can fit Fire and Wind's Reply into everything. Yeah. The big thing with Wind's Reply is it mimics Bunshin, in that Bunshin you use on 90s, and then you have to save Phantom Kamitachi for your 2-minute buff. You have to do the same here. You burn Wind's Riddle of Wind at the 90s, you know, whenever it becomes available, if it's outside of buffs, and you hold Wind's Reply. That only really makes sense on the 90s. On the 3-minute, there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, you have to use it immediately because it's during Riddle of Fire. But, you know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nice. I'm looking forward to it. I think Monk will be a good time. You replying to something over there?
Marcus just hit me up because I put him on blast. He's like, because there's only one meditate in the current game. I don't understand why they're breaking it up.
Because they want it to reflect the skills that you have. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's it.
And then for me, obviously, I had to look at the Fizz range because that's what I'll be rating on. That was what I had locked in. Overall, there's a couple of weird things, especially some of the stuff that's been mapped out. Bard is pretty much the same, except that it, you know, doesn't need a target and has a couple more follow-ups. So, okay, I did Bard at the start of Endwalker, so if I need to do that again, it'd be fine. Machinist has a very simple opener and reopener now. Very, very simple. It's like drill, air anchor, drill, chainsaw, excavator, and either full metal field or hypercharge, and then drill. And then if you didn't do full metal field, or you do it there. And you just literally, you never touch the 1, 2, or 3 part of your combos like at all. But its AoE is still as dumb as ever. The flamethrower, bioblaster, autocross, but it's all as silly and dumb as it was before, and as not intuitive and not as cohesive as it was before. So that was a missed mark. And then Dancer has, so I liked the Dancer update the most, but as much as potencies aren't final, right now it's looking like you will do 1 less standard step a minute. You just don't standard anymore, really. Better just GCDing at the moment. And then just only doing standard whenever you need to get the buff. So We'll see how that ends up working into the overall numbers. I think Machinist is going to be really strong in Raid, assuming there's not a lot of AoE requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there are, it's just going to feel awful to play. And then you swap to Dancer. Because Dancer's easy to play. Simple as that. That work makes it very, very easy. But yeah, no, the Dancer update I thought was the winning one overall.
Yeah.
But Machinists are still good. Machinists, still ping issues, still AoE heals, or AoE heals, AoE issues. But, you know, Dancer's brain dead easy, yeah. So,
yeah.
Always the reliable choice if need be. But I think Dismantle in Endwalker, its usefulness is going to be especially prevalent in Dawntrail, given the amount of other defensive changes they've been making. It seems to imply that on the high-level content, we'll probably need that. So, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Fizz range. That's my Fizz range take. Very level. And that's kind of how I felt about most things. I went through tanks and healers in like no time at all. There wasn't really too much to discuss across most of that stuff. Tanks is like, there's some very specific tank stuff. Warrior, there's nothing to discuss. Warrior's warrior. You good over there, Sly? Am I having a conversation with myself?
No, you're not.
Marcus doesn't need this much attention right now, Sly. He doesn't need to defend himself during the show.
That's exactly what he said.
Well, you
defend my sleep-deprived brain.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Jesus fucking Christ!
I think you'll be all right. But Gunbreakers have been having some discussion around Lionheart. Paladins seem to be just living their best lives, and actually, it really seems like all the tanks except potentially Gunbreaker are living there. Gunbreakers are still like mildly melting down over trying to figure out what to. They're not even upset. They're just like, well, I could do this or I could do that. But with Lionheart, we got to make sure it doesn't drift. So should we move it earlier? Everyone else is just like, bro, my buttons look cooler now. I don't give a shit. Dark Knight's a little upset about their MP economy being mildly affected.
I haven't heard a lot out of Dark Knights, honestly.
That's because the only real downside with Dark Knights at the moment is that they get 2 less stacks of blood weapon every minute. So they're like wondering about what the overall MP economy looks like in terms of like, can they use the same number of skills as before? Can they use the same amount of MP during burst? Do they need to stop doing that? Plunge being gone, of course, is the other thing, which, you know, again, they'll get over it. Or they'll just PvP or it'll probably stay. To be honest, Rough Divide and Plunge are probably staying in PvP. We couldn't test PvP stuff, but it's probably staying.
And that was another thing I was thinking about. Do you, because in Mediator, we only get access to, you know, a couple areas, you get access to 1 dungeon, and that's pretty much it. We get all the jobs and everything, and we have their whole kit at 100. It's limited in dungeon, limited in fates, of course, because you're synced down.
Yeah.
But in the future, do you hope that we get access to everything outside? Because, you know, I was thinking in the future that maybe, because like this is mainly for a battle job. This is like people want to see, hey, what's my job gonna do in 7.0? What we gonna do? But like in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, this, like, all this is great. I'm like, what about crafters? And like, we don't have access to that. So yeah, you bring up a good point with, you know, PvP and everything, but do you feel like in the future they would add more to they should or could add more to Miniature?
I think only if they're planning on something, because they said they weren't really going to do much in PvP, but I think seeing the PvP skills for Viper, and like if you're releasing a new job, let us at least see the PvP skills for the new job. I think that's fair enough. Even if you're planning on making significant changes in 7.1 or whatever you're planning on doing, that I think it was really, really weird to just not even be able to see what they are, how they will function in 7.0, which they said they will. There was another thing missing from Mediator. We couldn't see the raid planner.
none of the raids are out.
What do you mean we have all the old raids? I still want to test the feature before it. I don't want to beta test it on Savage release. I have extreme trials and shit that I could still use it for. So I was really hoping to see that, and that wasn't there. So yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I think PvP, they should at least have present for the new jobs and the raid planner. Like if you have a feature that you've said is going to be a part of your game, like it should be, available, Yeah. So I actually am not even sure at this point if it'll be available on not even just launch. Who knows when it's coming at this point? They just haven't. It's been ghosted. They brought it up once, and it's just been out of mind ever since. So who knows? Honestly, the biggest discussion I saw with tanks, though, going back to that, was the 40% mitts. Because there is a drastic difference in quality between the 40% mitts that all the tanks got. So to be clear, Warrior gets a regen. Now, people who don't main Warrior go, oh my God, another heal. That's hilarious. People who main Warrior
oh my God, they can't die as much more.
Yeah. Other people who main Warrior are like, okay, that's not going to save me from a tank buster. Who cares? Which I think is the more accurate thing. Like, yeah, in a dungeon, am I even harder to kill? Sure. Am I harder to kill in a deep dungeon? Sure. Is it going to save me from a tank buster anymore? No. So there's that. Yeah. Then you have Dark Knight, which got Heart of Corundum. They heal for 1200 potency when they fall below 50%. Only sustain change they got, mind you. So they're still not very good at sustain in dungeons, especially because of the cooldown of a 40% skill. But okay, whatever. Then you go to Paladin and you go to Gunbreaker and you're like, I think the dev team likes them better. Because Paladin got 1,000 potency HP barrier, which is incredible on a 40%. And Gunbreaker got Thrill of Battle. 20% more max HP on top of a 40% mitt. Now, to be fair, their healing received does not increase, but still. No. That's kind of nutty compared to Heart. Now, let's be honest. With Dark Knight, it's because they have TBN. They're just like, fuck it. We can't give them much.
Yeah, remember back we were having this conversation like 2.5 years ago when everybody got a TBN? Essentially.
Yeah. Paladin getting it on their 2 minutes. Like, yeah, it's only one every 2 minutes, but
yeah.
Nutty. The tank 40%. A nice little differentiating factor. But here's the thing. I agree. Warrior doesn't need anything else. Warrior's already way too strong defensively. So, I think giving them a regen is fine, but it's just like an isolation. You look at them and you go, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that. But that seems to be the majority, other than Gunbreaker trying to make sure they understand like how they're going to do their cartridges again, because that's changing. That's the biggest discussion is around the 40%. Can't say the same about healers.
Yeah.
Astro's not even being discussed that much, to be honest.
Which is really fucking odd. And I was like, okay, because, I put up the infographics and everything. Like, Astro, hardly mentioned. Scholar, yes. A little bit of White Mage.
Sage.
I think Sage. Yeah.
Fucking Sage too. Fucking Heavensward healers came out of all fucking places. Be like, 2 dots? 2?
Oh, God.
Yep.
I mean, Slowpoke, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Yes.
Yeah. I'd say yes. Is Astro not talked about much is both a good and bad thing. So here's the thing. Gameplay-wise, what they changed in Astro works in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I find some clear advantages design-wise. However, there were some glaring things not addressed.
Like?
They have way less MP economy, because they went from drawing and getting 5% back with every draw before to getting 5% back a minute.
So it's just basically Heaven's Ward Astro again, where they hope to get not even hope. I mean, you
10% on Astral and Umbral draw is the hope.
Yeah.
You know, they're just hoping it's 10% MP back on Astral and Umbral draw. All right, that's good. Number 2, Sinistry exists still somehow.
Yep.
And number 3, there are DPS. They did not get potencies back enough to offset the sheer volume of our DPS they lost from card pulls.
Yeah.
Malefic probably needs more potency. Combust probably needs more potency.
And so, again, disclaimer, when, we put all this out there saying that this is not final, like, I know in my heart of hearts, a lot of this shit, especially Astro, ain't fine.
Yeah, but it is just numbers, though. That's the big thing. I think functionally they did okay. I think it's just numbers that need this.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think that's the thing that's going to be adjusted before Dawn Trip.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Is you're hoping that a lot of that is just hangovers from, like, for example, draw being 5%. Like, they didn't do the 5% on astronomical draw. This is the hope, mind you. They didn't just do that because they thought that was the MP economy they needed. It's because they were changing draw, and draw had 5% MP before. And that, in the process, because these builds are normally several months old. That's normal. Like, what we're playing even is months old. Like, we're not playing the thing they finished, working on the day before or whatever. Because they need to package it, get it ready for Media Tour, not change it the whole Media Tour in whatever build we're playing. Yeah. So that's the hope. Numbers are always the thing most subject to change. But it puts it in people's mind, because if it is the same on release, people are going to be like,
it's Heaven's Ward all over again, man. Fuck this job.
Yeah. So that's where the Astro discussion's been. It's like, we got to see the numbers come up. Like, yeah, Lords being 400 potency versus 250 and getting them 100% of the time is nice, but it's not the answer. And they don't need to be like the highest. No one wants them to be the highest. I think everyone still expects Sage and White Mage to kind of be carrying everyone on their back in terms of, like, our DPS. But they also can't be a liability, People can't be, like, wanting to change healer because the healer doesn't have enough DPS, which is a very real thing in Ultimates and Week 1s.
It is. God, I just imagine it being like, I just imagine looking at all the world first teams and not seeing, like, a single Astro.
Mm-hmm. So very curious to see how that'll all pan out for Astro. But it's going to be funny because you still only play damage cards on your 2 minutes now.
Yeah.
You literally burn 2 cards, like, in your pre-pull / opener. You burn the utility cards because you want to play the balance and pull the spear and play them both in buffs. So you're not going to play 1 damage card a minute. You're going to play 2 every 2 minutes still. But that's way lower than what your contributions were before. And there's also, people might be like, oh, that's 2 damage cards. But before, you could technically pull 2 melee cards and have 2 melees with your double buffs. You can't do that. Now you have to give a ranged card, which, if you're not running Black Mage or potentially Picto, we don't know what the numbers are going to look like on that front, is going to be a more, like, if you have a Black Mage, it might not be as noticeable of a loss. But if you're running, like, Summoner, who will probably be significantly lower than Black Mages and melees again, if I had to guess without running the numbers, then you'll notice that. But Astro has other things. It's got the ability to buff heals for, like, a Scholar Shield or deploy low. It's got barriers. It's got damage mid again. It's got all that. And it's got 3 essential dignities. Which, pretty dope. I like that. White Mage is probably the actual, like, most one.
Yeah, and that's the one I was gonna level.
I mean, the problem is it's not like it's bad. It's just that White Mage always feels like the short end of the stick because
It is.
its job identity
is.
is like to be not interesting. I don't know how else to put it.
I mean, what else what else are people expecting from it? Is like, I heal.
But that's
what is your job? What is your identity? I heal.
That is the idea. And they do a lot of damage. Like, that's the thing. Misery is there.
Yeah.
Size is there. Glare 4 is now there. So they have the extra instant cast burns during Presence of Mind. It's like meant to be the basic thing. And I was excited because I checked out White Mage first. I was like, oh, they gave them an AoE barrier after Temperance. They can stack it with Temperance, or they could use it after Temperance wears off for 10 seconds. Okay, cool. But then when I made the video, I was like, kind of unfortunate that their only barrier is also tied to Mitt, which, to be fair, are two very well stacking things, but it's also all they fucking have. And then Astro gets Mitt on Noctsec. On Noctsec. I'm sorry, on not Noct, Neutral. Which gives them Noct. So they have shields, and they both have it, but it's like in the reversed order. And Neutral is multiple shields potentially over the time, versus the one big shield from that. Not to mention, Astro also has Bull, Spire.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I felt like White Mage would have benefited from just not getting a follow-up in terms of Temperance, or for it not having a 30-second duration. Like, at the very least, allow you to hold on to it until you use it. And just make it so you have to use it before the next Temperance. At the very least, that would have gone a long way for White Mage.
Yeah.
But it is still the simple job. Like, it's literally there to be the simple healer that gets played by some, is perfectly fine in everything, but you can find clear advantages, disadvantages to playing something more technical.
Yeah. I mean, it'll still do good content. Honestly, I feel like it always does. It's always solid in in-game content. Like, people they'll use it.
Yeah.
So nothing wrong with it. It's just, like you said, it's just
basic. Sage, on the other hand, the double dots. I've seen people going wild over the double dots for like a number.
Yep.
For a number, because here's the thing. It's not like a huge gain over Dosis. And if you use it and reapply and the boss isn't there for the entire thing, then it's a loss. But I've seen people who are just excited to have a movement tool that isn't, because what happens now is, like, as Sage, your number of movement tools comes down to where Phlegmas can be placed or Toxicons can be placed. And if you don't have those, or it's like not the time to use them, or you haven't had time to recharge them, Dosis, Eucrasian Dosis and Eucrasian Dyscrasia are now like 2 movement tools. So, like, if you need to reapply either, or you don't have like Dyscrasia applied, you would do it there. Which is a pretty unique value for them to have. It's a value prospect where it's like, oh, maybe, because they could lower it to not be a damage gain, but it would still get used if you use it as a movement tool, which is it's an interesting dynamic to have for a situation like that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it go that way. And then they have Psyche, Nuke.
Yeah.
Big thing to note with Astro and Sage, Numa and Macrocosmos are now not DPS neutral on one target. So you'll still use them, obviously. And if there's multi-target, there's still a gain. But it was something to take note of. Putting their utility and uses value over the, 20 potency loss? I just thought, after we praised that last expansion, it was worth mentioning that they weren't neutral anymore on one target. If raid design has a lot of multi-target, though, which I think it might after doing the dungeon. The dungeon has 2 bosses with AoE phases, so I'm like, wonder if they're going to bring that back again. In which case, there's no fucking shot on playing Machinist. No fucking chance in hell am I playing Machinist if they bring back more AoE phases into raids and stuff.
I'm kind of toying with the idea.
What, playing Machinist?
Yeah, in my head. Yeah.
No, I'm not toying about it in AoE. I don't want to do that shit. Ain't no way. And then Scholar is really just all chat about Seraphism.
Yep.
That button is stupid.
Dumb.
It's dumb, but the MP economy on it is awful. I actually like Philosophia more. It's what Sage's 3-minute button is. Because Philosophia will heal for every GCD, regardless if it's damage or healing. Seraphism gives you a pretty weak-ass regen for being in it, and then the value is in the fact that you are literally a god. For no, like literally, you can E-Tactics every heal. You have instant cast AoE shields, instant cast single target shields, but it sucks your MP dry.
Yeah.
So unless you're in a very unique situation where you need that level of repeat healing, which does happen, I can think of spaces where it happens now where it would be great. It will likely be overkill in a lot of situations. This is why I like Philosophia better, because it's useful. It's not as game changing, but it has more general use applications. Yeah, like P10, Harrowing Hell. If I had Seraphism for that,
oh god.
But here's the thing: I think of having Philosophia for that, and I go, yeah, I'd have an extra AoE heal with every GCD here as well. And I'm like, that's also great. It feels less overkill based on how the game currently is. But Scholar could just solo heal the whole thing. Oh, which makes White Mages pointless. I think Scholar Sage is, if they don't do anything, Scholar Sage is 100% going to be the go-to for the first tier. 100% if Astro's damage profile is too low, you're going to see Scholar Sage the first tier. I have no doubt. It already happened technically in P1 through 4. So I fully expect it. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then casters. So Summoner. Anyway. So Red Mage. Anyway. So Black Mage.
Oh yeah, yeah. Black Mage, I felt like it was the big discussion point of all the casters besides Picto.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons for that. More reasons have kind of evolved as more things have been kind of discussed. And I think a more valid criticisms have happened. The doom and glooming is still way over the top. But there's some very valid, fair found criticisms that I think they could address to improve it. So the complaint about the whole non-standard thing, I don't give a fuck about. Because there's no way this game should have ever had skill expression based on mana ticking. Who cares? What are very valid concerns is pre-Umbral Soul gameplay, because your ability to handle your mana before Umbral Soul during downtime is fucking terrible. And yes, they fully expect you to Blizzard 3 and Blizzard 4. If you need MP, like Yoshi P, I asked him and he said he fully expects you to do that. But I still think Umbral Soul, 100% valid criticism, could be an earlier level. At the really low levels, they're spamming Blizzard 1, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Really low levels. But to be fair, that's not that much different than the really early levels were, like pre-Blizzard 3. So that doesn't affect me that much. Like pre-Fire 3, pre-Blizzard 3 is kind of a meme anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to take much attention. The other, it's a very specific valid concern, is 2-target. You can't really thunder 2 targets anymore. Like, not efficiently. It's kind of awkward to do. Like, there's some points in the fight where you can quickly double thunder and then maintain on one. But it's not like a good, because I got to look at the potencies, but I'm pretty sure 2 targeting the AoE thunder is not better than singling both still. So I thought, it was like, yeah, okay, that's fair. I could understand not liking the way your 2 target feels. Then I look over at Machinist and I was like, Black mages, I don't want to hear jack fucking shit about what you have to say about 2 targeting, all right? I don't want to hear a goddamn thing about what you have to say about I felt the selfish bits of me inside think about everything I said about Machinists and looking over at High Thunder and being like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna lie, I can't feel any remorse. But I get it. That's a valid criticism and concern. Yeah. Not every job can have great 2 target. Not every job can win at 2 target. But when you had it before and you don't have it now, it's a bit of a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but other than that, if I were to tell you what to do on Black Mage, you would say, yeah, that sounds like Black Mage. It's like on like the most basic level. It would sound exactly like I'm describing Black Mage. I'd be like,
Describe
well,
it.
Blizzard 3, Blizzard 4, Thunder, Fire 3, Fire 4, Fire 4, Fire 4, Paradox, Fire 4, Fire 4, Fire 4, Despair, Fire 3, Astral Flare, repeat. Like if I were to forego Mana Font, if I were to forego throwing in Xenoglossy, like I've just described.
Yeah, I was about to say, like
yeah.
where's the Xenoglossy and all that? Like yeah,
I'm just describing what you'll do, like what you'll loop, right? Like, yeah, Xenoglossies are in there for movement, for burst. There's ley lines, there's triple cast. Like, obviously, there's more to it. But if when I just break down the cycle of Black Mage, it sounds the same. Its core is the same.
So wait, Happy, are you saying that, you know, White Mage, like Black Mage is the White Mage in terms of identity? And
well, I was saying White Mage is the Black
basic.
Mage. To be fair, I said it the other way around. White Mage is the Black Mage of healers.
So you're saying they're both basic. That's all you're saying is they're both basic.
No, because Black Mage is all about knowing how to earn the casts. White Mage is kind of, but you also are White Mage, so nobody gives a shit. You're lucky to be there in the first place. Whereas Black Mage...
Wow.
Whereas,
wow.
if you're playing Black Mage in Raid, you fucking earned it. All right? That's it.
Okay.
So they made sure to just move a lot of instant cast stuff to be like, you can stock more instant cast stuff. You get guaranteed instant cast on certain things. For Black Mage, like the biggest complaint about that is that that's what Black Mage sounds like. What I just described as standard. The thing that was lost with the Manatix is called non-standard. And the loss of that is, you know, the complaints is the loss of skill expression, which again, I don't think the Manatix should be where that is. I think your fight-to-fight knowledge is where that comes in, but that's just my opinion. I think there's still things they could improve about it, though. There are. I think the Umbral Soul thing is perfectly fair. I mean, I remember when we had Aspect Mastery at 72 and going to 70 was like the most disparage experience of my video game life. I've never hated downsinking on a job more than losing Aspect Mastery. Ever. The worst experience of all time. No, Reaper downsync is boring. Black Mage downsync is an abomination. Like, you don't understand how bad it was, if you didn't play it during Shadowbringers, to go from 80 Black Mage to 70 Black Mage. It was the worst video game experience I've had. And I beat Superman 64. All right? Like, some things feel weird or incomplete. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So, that's how I feel. And we'll see. We also have to see if there's any other changes coming in or whatnot. But there's definitely going to be a fair amount more triple cast saving instead of using it in burst. I can definitely feel that happening. And what's going to be hilarious, I'm almost certain Black Mage's buff window, even with 20 seconds, you would have to pretty recklessly use Mana Font to get a lot out of Mana Font during twos. So I almost think of Mana Font as a movement tool. Because it gives you instant casts back immediately. Like, I look at some of the things Black Mage was using in Burst before, and I look at them now and I go, I want to save you. Like, I'm looking at Amplifier and I'm like, maybe in the opener, but after that, I'm fucking keeping you, like, nearby. And for Mana Font, it's the same thing. I'm like, am I going to want to save man? Because, like, Mana Font, you're not going to get more in-buff fire casts from Mana Font. You just don't want to ever lose a Mana Font cast across the fight.
Right.
So that's how I'm thinking of it. Like, yeah, could I sit in fire for a minute straight? Yeah. Do I need to for any particular reason? No.
No.
Wouldn't I rather have another Thundercast and like another Paradox and another Fire 3, and that buys time for another Xenoglossy, which I also have for my Amplifier?
Yeah.
This is why when I think of Black Mage now, I'm like, so this is where the skill expression is. It's just not in your fucking mana. You all right, Sly? You thinking about something?
Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, you said you want to keep it for like a rainy day, but like,
no, that rainy day is coming. It's more like the I know it's going to rain and I don't want it to pour kind of situation. I do think Ice Paradox being gone is very weird, given it is a fire ice ability. I get how they're justifying it lore wise, because it's like you go from ice to fire. It's like carrying the energies over, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Ice Paradox come back at all. That wouldn't shock me.
So you're saying you wouldn't want to hold Mana Font is what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying your brain tells you, oh, I get a full fire phase. Let me use this.
Yeah.
My brain goes, that's a bunch of instant casts and a full fire phase.
And Paradox.
Well, that's an instant cast. Paradox is an instant cast now in fire.
Yeah.
So I could totally see something like that happening. I just don't think the whole server tick thing needs to stay. Like that, I'm never going to be like, oh yeah, we should go back to that. I want to like functionally look at everything else.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of swift cast. Remember, you do get a swift cast, extra swift cast every. Well, in level 100 stuff, you get another swift cast.
Yeah.
Every like you get an extra for every 2 minutes of gameplay. You get an extra swift cast now. Yeah, 40 seconds down from 60. Mm-hmm. So you do 40, 80, 120 versus, 120. Technically it's 0, 40 because you'll probably use Swiftcast early and bring it back unless you're going to need it for something in particular. Like you'll save it if you're
I
going
had
to
to
need
do
it.
the math in my head. So I was like, yeah, you're right.
There's going to be a lot of discussion on a fight-to-fight basis about just Swiftcast for Black Mage. The other funny thing is the very real possibility of lucid dreaming on Black Mage. The only reason is because there's going to be situations. I'll give you a great example. Top.
Okay.
Right? Here's the thing. Yeah. So this is a bad example. At the very early levels, you're 100% going to need it. But there's going to be probable situations where you have no way of getting an ice spell out to get the mana back, and thus no ice spell to maintain Umbral Ice. That could be a down for the count moment. It could be a pre-Umbral Soul moment, whatever. Where you're like, I could get all my MP back though. At the lowest levels, when you get it at 14, you're 100% going to have to use Lucid Dreaming.
I'm thinking in terms of Sphere. Isn't that part of the challenge? Isn't that part of the ceiling of Black Mage?
The use cases for it at max level are very, very, very few. Like even in top, like when you come back, you're gonna want Umbral Hearts. You're gonna cast Blizzard. You're not gonna not cast Blizzard when you're gonna instantly swift cast Blizzard 3 and hard cast Blizzard 4. Like as soon as you come back into like a down from the count situation at max level. I don't see any reason why you would do anything, because it's not like you're gonna have hearts. Your Enochian's gonna have dropped by the time all that shit happens. So you're gonna have to go get hearts. Unless there's like, and again, this could happen with Black Mage Tech. It could be like a quick fire, ignore paradox proc, like quick fire phase back into that. Something like that could totally happen. I could see that happening. I could see the quick fire ignoring Umbral Hearts into, because we've had that before with Black Mage. Yeah, what if you just mana font? You instantly go into fire with all your procs. There you go. See, it's like there are solutions built into the job. You just have to not think of the skills so like linearly as like what they appear to be.
But I do agree with chat. I think some shit should be switched around in terms of when you get it.
Yeah, I just think you have to think about things not as the game is now and more so about how the game will be. Like, because when you think about it now.
Wait, okay. When you say will be, work. Are you thinking in terms of like content or patches?
Wait, what?
When you're thinking of will be, are you thinking in terms of like?
Well, I'm thinking about the job has these tools, like will have these tools. So instead of like trying to mix and match the two, like think, oh, if I had those tools now, what would it look like? Versus how I'll use the tools. When
because I'm thinking in terms of like in terms of your will be like.
What the fuck is this?
Are you Diamond Dallas Page? Stealth High Five? Like, what are you doing?
No, I crossed them like this. I didn't even do this. I crossed them like this. The fuck is that?
I was like, are you doing some Diamond Dallas Page?
Like gang sign right there, man.
But yeah, like I was thinking in terms of your will be, like, are you thinking in terms of like what possibly they'll do to adjust the job? Or
no, I'm just literally thinking like you have to think of the game state as it will be and not as it is now, because a lot of people, whenever changes come out, a lot of the doom posting comes from thinking about how we play the job now and then just thinking about having the new things as you would play them now versus thinking like, for example, if I see mana font now, I know mana font now is I get another fire 4, I get another despair, or I swift cast a despair. Like that's how I use mana font now. I don't use mana font to come out of downtime and instantly have everything that I need to have to start damaging the boss, right? But if I think about mana font like that, like, oh, I would come out and immediately go into mana font because it's the same thing as stopping to cast Blizzard 3 and 4 and then going into fire. It puts me in the exact same scenario. I have all of my MP, I have my Umbral Hearts, I have everything, and I have whatever I have left over from before, which in the case of Black Mage would be Xenoglossy. So it's like, there's just different situations. Like maybe there's situations where you don't want to do that because then mana font you're going to want for the instant cast and MP later for a different. Those are the things that have to be considered versus right now, mana font is I use it when I'm at 0 and fire to extend fire a little bit. Still, Umbral Soul at the lower level is fair. I completely agree with that. So that's the thing. I'm not seeing any discussion like that. I just keep seeing this focus around like non-standard and like bad scenarios.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I've seen. I haven't seen any discussion about like the application of skills in a different way. Do you think we can get a second sentence on Summoner and Red Mage? Yeah, so Summoner and Red Mage. Okay. You've got a second sentence. I don't know what to add. Like Grand Impact is there. Solar Bahamut's there.
You mean a Alolan Bahamut?
Yeah, Alolan Bahamut. My bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Hydamut. There you go. That's it. Can't wait for Lunar Phoenix next expansion. Honestly, the thing I focused on more casters was Picto, but it was also because they actually there's basically a Yu-Gi-Oh card in Pictomancer's job kit.
I'd agreed.
Well, no, but it, given the length of the description of Starry Muse, it looks like a modern card from them. Yeah, Starry Muse is just like, render a star streaming sky over a magic landscape, increasing damage dealt by self and nearby party members by 5%, duration 20 seconds, grants subtractive spectrum, duration 30 seconds, grants inspiration and 5 stacks of hyperphantasia. Stacks of hyperphantasia are consumed upon casting certain spells, duration 30 seconds, inspiration effect reduces cast time and recast time of star prism and ether hue spells by 25% while standing within the bounds of the magic landscape. Effect expires when all stacks of hyperphantasia are consumed. Additional effect grants rainbow bright upon consuming all 5 stacks of hyperphantasia, duration 30 seconds. Rainbow bright effect, rainbow drip can be cast immediately and has a reduced recast time. Additional effect grants starstruck, duration 20 seconds, can only be executed while starry sky is painted on the landscape canvas. This action cannot be assigned to a hotbar. Scenic Muse changes to Starry Muse when requirements for execution are met.
Bars. And still, Dancer still has like the longest fucking tooltip. Dancer tooltips are still longer than that shit.
I think Dancer just has a lot of lines. That's a lot more explanation and text.
Oh my God. Bars.
I'm just reading the ability. I saw a tweet
Bars.
just before we started that said this ability explains why Final Fantasy 14 players don't read. Or don't know don't know what their jobs do. That's what it said. They don't know what their jobs do. So I like how the Yu-Gi-Oh peeps immediately like, well, actually there's this one Yu-Gi-Oh card that's even longer. And they're right. I've seen these cards. They're right. I know. I'm surprised. I honestly, it'd be hilarious. There's some Yu-Gi-Oh cards that they were just longer because of the description.
Like as long as the deck itself.
No, yeah. So like even though you're shuffling the deck, you've just got like that one card that's just longer.
Like, please don't play that card. Please don't do it. And it just covers the whole table.
Just covers the whole fucking table. If Yu-Gi-Oh card, oh my God, I would love to see somebody put like a thing that said if all Yu-Gi-Oh cards had the same font size, what the shape of their card would be. I would love to see somebody make a fake deck of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and it's all the descriptions are like the minimum normal size, but they all have the same font size and they get longer depending on how long, like whatever the length would be with a standard font, whatever the standard font size is on like the really normal looking cards, and just apply that to every other card. I want to see that. I don't want to die until somebody does that. So if anyone out there knows someone who makes fake Yu-Gi-Oh, because there are actually people who make like custom Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Mm-hmm. Get on it. Give me a synchro deck or something with that. All right. Or like, isn't the U-Bell deck? Anyone know? Isn't U-Bell back in style recently? I saw a bunch of U-Bell deck shit popping up. That's the OG right there. I'll go with that. Perfect. Just the whole deck. Just print it out, all different sizes. I'm speaking a different language to you right now.
I mean, I've seen memes.
Yeah, but you don't know modern Yu-Gi-Oh.
No,
at all. Yeah,
no.
I look occasionally and then I get depressed. It's really, it's a lot of text. U-Bell is a current deck. See, I keep up. I'm good. Funny how this joke didn't come up during Astro at all. It came up during fucking Pictomancer.
I know, it came up for Picto of all things.
Although with Astro, one of my favorite VR skit like videos is a Yu-Gi-Oh related one, and he keeps saying Pot of Greed draws 3 cards in that skit instead of 2, so it kind of works out. You never saw this coming. I play Pot of Greed, which allows you to draw 3 additional cards. That's not what it does. No, the guy goes, that's not what it does. That's what it do, Yugi. That is what it do. It does what it do. I fucking love that video. That video cracks me the fuck up. Anyway, the only other thing we didn't really dedicate to talk about was melees, but we kind of talked about every melee except Samurai.
Yeah.
Reaper briefly, kind of. Yeah,
Yeah.
Samurais are hurt right now.
How so?
Tsubame being tied to Mekio has a lot of implications because you used to sometimes use it, sometimes not, depending on the situation. Now you're kind of having like, you're getting like burned into using it. So it's a little tough. There's a lot of concern about, from what I've read, drift with certain skills, with not being able to fit everything into a buff window because there's just too much. There's honestly, I haven't seen a single comment about Kaiten. They've finally forgotten. They're way too worried trying to fucking figure it out.
Nah, I was gonna say like maybe no, it's not coming back. No.
I always say just make it an animation and then watch them macro it into every skill. Like make it an emote. Yeah, it's like Bloodborne on PC. They finally stopped having hope.
I mean, it is Summer Game Fest. Who knows?
My favorite Summer Game Fest tweet that I've seen is rumor Jeff Keighley will be attending Summer Game Fest. That was my favorite tweet about Summer Game Fest so far. I was like, no. I'm muting the stream if he brings Kojima on. I'm muting the stream.
Wow. I mean, you know what's going to happen.
I said it before. I don't dislike Kojima. I think he's overpraised. I don't dislike him. I don't even really care whether or not I like his games. But Jeff Keighley has actively made me dislike seeing Kojima at game shows. He's just ruined that man's appearance. Like every time I publicly see him now, it's just.
He's probably going to announce his new espionage game. So like, it's going to happen.
You mean Death Stranding 2, which is already happened? We already know about.
No,
I'd rather hear about the horror.
The game after Death Stranding, the espionage game that he's working.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'd sooner he talk. Can they just do the horror thing? I was more excited about that.
What? Silent Hills? What was?
No. The one he's doing with what's his face? Jordan Peele.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about the show than I do about the game. I was hella excited. Everything that man has made, everything that he's made has been amazing. Not Kojima.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah. Yes. Everything that man has done in like the last decade has been phenomenal. So I'm more excited about that. But yeah. That's where my brain is going. And when we start talking about Samurai, I'm just like, all I know is what they've been telling me. All I see is really cool animations that make me jealous every expansion.
Wait. One thing. And again, kind of going back to Ninja with the well, this is more of like an everything like, hey, we've given jobs like all this shit to cover overspending. Oh, wait, there's Ninja. Yeah, they kind of forgot about Ninja.
So do you know why Ninja doesn't have it, though? Because Mug doesn't give enough for even a single use. That's why. That's it. I thought about that, and I was like, it's because Mug only gives 40 and not 50. If they ever give it 50, it won't make any sense. If they do anything, they'll go from 40 to just a free Bava or Hellfrog.
Yeah.
There's very few situations where you overcap with Mug unless you don't know how to play the job. Whereas with like Machinist, for example, before, not now, you would if you did, I don't want to say perfectly, but if you did everything like common sense wise for Machinist, you would have 55 gauge by the time you got barrel stabilizer back. And you're just like,
yeah,
that's annoying. That's really annoying, huh? And that was the worst of it. Like you could choose to just fucking ignore it and just press barrel stabilizer to go to 100 and then instantly hyper. Like you could do that, but that was annoying.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't say optimal. I said common sense, but it's like that's in there. So had to make sure to get it.
Yep.
Now there were some other things that weren't job related that we got to do. We got to check out the dual die system. I didn't make a video on it because it was full of incorrect text.
I didn't even realize that shit was there.
Yeah, it was there. Because we weren't, so for those who aren't too aware, we're not allowed to show incorrect text. One of the big reasons is even though we have disclaimers saying it could change, it's still in development, it forwardly presents as like a massive oversight. Like when you have just text that's outright wrong or incorrect or bad. Yeah.
Yeah, Reaper job description. Was one of those.
Oh, I never even look at the job description of Reaper.
Yeah, because the first part of the Reaper job description was in Japanese.
Yeah. So that's the reason why anytime there's incorrect text, we're not. We can use
we're not showing that.
Well, like we could show the double die menu, but we'd have to get rid of all the incorrect text, and it's such a fucking pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the double die menu was sweet. I did look at it. I recorded it and everything. But like you can preview one die, both dies. You can save previews for later. You can choose to apply them from that menu. You can pop them open in a different menu and save like a preview on the side while you check other previews. It was incredible. You can save die sets. Yeah, that's the big thing. Saving die sets in there was really good. It was a top-notch menu with so many options. So, big ups on that. I may not have been able to fucking read any of it. But, you know. The blacklist, I instantly deleted some people.
You and Frosty deleted me.
Yeah. I didn't know it was you at the time. I just grabbed somebody who was near me, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Frosty even looked at me dead in the eyes and said, yeah, I'm going to blacklist Sly. Like, okay.
And I went, hey, Sly, where are you?
Yeah.
Had to test it. And it works. It works. You know what's funny? Somebody said, so if you have an early puller in a hunt train or an S rank blacklisted, is it just going to look like a ghost pulled the boss? And I was like, yes.
Yes.
That's it. It's just going to look like it's just like this imaginary thing I'm angry at. And it's going to run at the imaginary thing. And that's funny. The mute list didn't work. I tried to use the mute list and it just didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It was just not working at the time. And the raid planner wasn't there, as I said earlier. The PvP skills weren't there. We couldn't look at any of the new achievements. So I tried all these things. I did mute phrases.
Did you?
Yes, I did try muting phrases. Unfortunately, it also had incorrect text, and I didn't feel like dealing with
it. Did you happen to go out into the other areas?
I ran around a bit.
Did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did get a tour of both areas, three. Tuliolal, Urkapacha, and Kazama Oka. But here's the thing. The transfer from their servers to the Dropbox ate my Kazama Uka tour. So I only had Tuliolal and Urkapacha, which Kazama Uka was probably the more interesting of the areas in terms of like everything that was around. But I do love Urkapacha. Now the thing is, if you spoke to any of the NPCs that had dialogue,
Welcome
all you would
to
get is welcome to Tyrol. Welcome to Tyrol.
Every NPC
hashtag welcome to the world.
Yeah.
Welcome to Tyrol. I want to get that trending on like YouTube on Twitter or something. Welcome to Tyrol. Like just go to any of my tour videos. That's all they say. Yeah, Urkapacha, not Urkapacha, Tuliolal as a hub city. Really good. Really good. Giant tacos, by the way. Giant fucking
The tacos are enormous.
Holy shit. And hey, they even have the dog trail cocktail there too. Yeah, boy. Yeah, like Tuliolol as a location is very vertical. A lot of fucking stairs. A lot
It
of fucking
sure
stairs.
is vertical, Sly. Because I tried to test one thing in particular. We were alerted
What?
to a little jump puzzle that would be available.
Oh,
There was actually two, but I only got to try one of them.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, it was broken.
Ah,
There were invisible walls preventing me from climbing to the top.
Good.
So I got to like maybe 40% up, and then there was just invisible walls that would stop me. But that was only one. I didn't try the other one because there's two. There's one on the big tower, the big tower one is weird because you can start at the bottom or you can start a little bit up. If you go into the palace and jump out and go along the side, I wonder if they're gonna disallow that because it defeats the purpose of like the lower spot.
Yeah.
So, and then there's another one on the other side on a smaller tower that I think you can climb all the way. So I went over to try that one and then I got lost and I was like, never mind. I like went to the wrong spot thinking I could get there from it. And I was like, I was going to have to go back and then up the stairs. And I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to teleport and go get other footage.
One thing I realized, like, Tuliolol has like really good views, especially if you're looking from the docks up. It's like a really beautiful view. And then if you go up to the top of Tuliolol, like where the palace is, and you just look down, like even better. Like a lot of the places were pretty like that. Urkapacha really had views like that where you could just look pretty much everywhere you're going. And it's just so beautiful. Plus, Urkapacha has the mezcal distillery.
I knew you would like that.
Yeah, buddy.
I knew you'd like that.
Like all the eateries look like they did a really good job on like all the eateries and everything. And lore wise, and I was thinking about this when I was making the Urkapacha video. Lore wise, the Pelo Pelo, we've never I'm like, and I'm trying to remember for the life of me any, society or beast tribe where they have been.
We don't call them beasts anymore, Sly.
Okay, allied tribe. That better?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking of the beast tribes in the past. That's why I was saying them. But I'm thinking of like any beast tribe, allied tribe, or society that has been a part of past expansions and comparison to Pelo Pelo, where Pelo Pelo are more, how do I say this, industrious, because like if you go around and you see all these ranches, you see they have a coffee grounds, which I thought was a really good pun on the side of the localization team. They have the ranches, the coffee grounds, the mezcal distillery. They're kind of industrious, whereas opposed to all the other societies and beast tribes, allied tribes that we've seen, like they're not. I'm gonna say they're not as industrious, but like they are in terms of everything for conflict or war. This is more of, hey, these are people that they got their own thing going. They got their own industry.
I'm just curious to what they'll sound like voice-wise because we've only ever seen one Pelu Pelu in 10-2, and he's got a very fast-paced, almost like 60s kind of fucking Tobley. Yeah.
Tobley.
So yeah, I mean the dwarves had mines and villages. It's about all they had was mines.
that was it.
Yeah.
I was on the spot. I'm like, does anybody have anything outside of like conflict or war? Yeah, the dwarves. Yeah. I think that would be the only one.
Yeah. But yeah, I just fought a few monsters around, listened to some of the music. Yeah, that's all I really did as I flew through. I was going to do a video on those, and I was just like, I don't really have as much interesting to say here. Just looks nice. That's all I would say is like, oh,
yeah, I mean, nice. that was the majority of my shit. It's like a lot of the shit just looks beautiful. A lot of the areas in Urkapacha have names that are in relation to sadness, like, and I'm wondering what the lore reason for that is. A lot of interesting areas. You know, Tuliol just looks beautiful. Like, honestly, what more can I say? The NPCs are interesting. Some of the areas are interesting. Like there's a barracks area. The plaza is probably for guards and everything, because all the guards were there and they were training or sparring and things like that. And every section of Tuliol had something special about it. So
yeah, I agree. It was good times. I enjoyed just flying around and just chilling, checking everything out. Mm-hmm. So, it was a good time overall.
Yeah,
I enjoyed.
Yeah,
would have loved more time, but didn't have any more.
One day.
That one day is June 28th. That's when I'll have more time with it.
Yeah.
But with that, I think we've covered all the majority of things that we needed to discuss here today.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in agreement?
I am.
All right. Then I think we can wrap up and start getting ready for Summer Game Fest, which is why we ran this an hour early today. Apparently, we've been told not to expect much, but it's not like I'll believe anything Jeff Keighley says. I honestly don't.
I always go in with low expectations anyway, so surprise me.
Yeah. And there's all the interviews. I haven't even checked all the interviews. I mean, I have my own, but just no blitzball. Mm. It's funny. I'll add that in. When I asked about blitzball, he so audibly yelled no that people in the main room asked me what he yelled no about. And I was like, I didn't realize it was that loud, but it was loud. That's the most adamant no. I got the most adamant yes in the form of you're getting ultimate weapons. And I got the most adamant for new jobs for old ultimates, and the most adamant no for blitzball. So it was good times. I got through a lot more questions than I thought I was going to get through. Like, yeah, you'll probably get through like 4 or 5. And then I got through 8, and I'm like, I didn't prepare for this. You told me 4 or 5. Why'd you tell me 4 or 5? That's good, though. But anyway, that's going to be a wrap for State of the Realm this week. Next week, we're going to be doing the show on Saturday, because next Friday is SMT 5 day for Sly over here.
Behold my demons.
Just need Dick Chariot. That's all.
Yeah, probably. It is there.
I was going to say Mara is 100% an SMT 5. That's Mara is an SMT monster, not a Persona monster.
Yep.
I know that. I know exactly how it works. I might be playing it for like a day or two. I don't have much time to play it, so I can't finish it.
Yeah, I know you can't.
So,
yeah.
Looking like I might play it on Friday, though, at the very least. I'm going to start Elden Ring replay through tomorrow. So, that I'm looking forward to. Yep. Yeah, the live letter is next Friday, but we could have done the show the same day, but we're not. We're doing it on Saturday. So,
yeah,
I'll be up bright and early for the live letter. So, please look forward to that.
Hi.
There you go. But that's going to be a wrap. So thanks, everyone, for enjoying. Be sure to tune in next Saturday, where we will talk about the live letter. Obviously, we'll have the launch trailer and whatever other details to talk about. And then I'll be gone for a week, but we might do one more show the following Saturday, if anything. That's the problem, is that's Elden Ring time. So like, you wanted time for SMT, I needed time for Elden Ring. So it's kind of
crossing over.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, but thanks for joining. Thank you to everyone on Patreon for sponsoring as well. Like a reminder at the beginning, thank you. All our content's available for free, whether it be a cocktail list or a job description. we upload everything we do for free, so it's all good. Sly, why don't you give everyone your lowdown?
Yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox, Twitter, and Sly, aka Gray Fox, youtube.com/thevelvetroom. Again, everything is everywhere. I'm just glad, the whole media tour thing is over. SMT5 next week. Vengeance. Behold my demon. Yay. So that's pretty much it until Dawn Trail. And then I'm 40.
Woo!
Like this whole month is a fucking blur. And then I wake up and I'm 40. So yeah, I got a plan for my birthday and I don't even know what the fuck I'm going to do for that.
Better figure it out, man.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, wait. Crazy idea. You're going to have any drinking?
Is a pig's ass pork? Does bear shit in the woods? Does Pinocchio have wooden balls?
I don't know that he has any balls. I'm not convinced about that last one.
Okay. Yeah.
Just depends on which version of Geppetto you're talking about.
Maybe Liza P. I don't know.
There you go.
But yeah, of course. And hell, I'm even thinking about doing a stream before early access where I just smoke some carne asada before some giant.
I did not think you were going to say carne asada. It was not the words I thought were about to come out of your mouth.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing a smoked carne asada stream before Dawn Trail because giant tacos. So there.
Fair.
And plus, I need to make the drink that Urianger had. That's gonna be another one too.
Gonna buy the pineapple and everything.
Yep, pour it out, everything.
All right.
I already have the recipe plan. So yeah, just need to make it.
All right, sounds good.
Apps, what about you?
Find me Mr. Happy 1227. I am not done making videos. I got to go through the interviews myself. I got to do Dawn Trail prep video, which people have been asking me about, which isn't really going to be that long, but I do need to make it. I will be doing Elden Ring, but not until the day after it comes out, because I will actually be out of town from the 18th through the 21st, and I'll come back early on the 22nd. So that's going to be it's going to be a busy week. And then I'm starting Elden Ring tomorrow. I'm going to restart it. It's like the 15th or 16th time I've beaten that game. But I've been doing modded versions. I did like randomizers and crowd control. I'm just going to do a vanilla-ass playthrough and get a save file ready for the DLC. Because I could just use my PS5 save file. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use my PC save file. That way I have it, on my PC. Because I have both versions. It won't take me that long to do Elden Ring. Yeah. I think I probably do a day of SMT5 just to look at it because I will not have the time to play it. That will not happen past one day, especially because it comes out the same day as the live letter. So I'm already going to be fucking exhausted regardless. So it's going to be a busy time. Busyness is only beginning for me. So I apologize for your subscriber feeds over the next several months ahead of time. Please look forward to it.
Hi.
There it is. With that, we're going to go into a short post show, and then we're going to start getting ready for Summer Game Fest. So we will see you next Saturday for our live letter show. So y'all, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week, or enjoy our streams. We'll see you next time. Until then, I bid you adieu.
See you soon.